So I am going to get the show on the road here. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Why is marketing so hard? And I really don't think it is, but I get it. It's hard because it's so easy to focus on the wrong things. There's so much coming at us now. This graphic is just over the top. This is the technology available in the digital marketing space. And just 8 years ago, there were about 150 tools out there that could be identified as having something to do, whether it's a platform like MySpace or Facebook or a search engine like AltaVista or Lycos, or talk about a trip down memory lane. I just saw somebody's brochure the other day and they said they'd get you listed in AltaVista and Lycos. And I was like, geez, do those still exist? AOL. But there's almost 7,000 as of last year, and it's just exploding. And we haven't even really scratched the surface of artificial intelligence and a couple of other things that are going to impact this dramatically. So suffice it to say, the technology overload is just getting started. And to compound that, for most people, they really just want to get somebody on the phone or in their store. So you go from having this massive sea of technology that can reach all kinds of different people, all kinds of different ways, and you really don't have a specific discerning way to establish, who am I talking to? And talking to strangers in a generic way is rarely going to be very effective. So that's where we're going to focus our time today. Here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about 3 ways to make money. This was life-changing for me, and it's very simple. How many are you using? And then understanding the key metrics around those 3 ways. That's really critically important, and it's missing for most folks. Understanding how your customers move through the buying process for whatever it is that you offer. What do they start looking for? What are they thinking about? When do they become aware they have a problem? When do they become aware there's a solution? Describe your ideal customer financially. We're going to design your marketing to create more of them. So what do they look like? And that's going to become a lot clearer in a minute when I get into that. Who's your best prospect? How well do you know them? Could you sit down and have coffee with them and have a relevant conversation with them that would just make them go, oh my gosh, they get me? You need to. We're going to talk about websites that can turn traffic into customers instead of just being a fog and a bit of a confusion. And we're going to talk about why you need emails and what to do with them. I run into a lot of people that have emails that haven't sent an email to them in gosh knows how long. Reviews and referrals. You really need to have a mechanism. You have to have a strategy, a process in place that drives these, because they're so important now, because marketing really is people, believing people. There's estimates that as high as 60% of your marketing, even 70%, is what people are saying about you. People don't care what you say about yourself as much as whether their peers find you to be effective. So here's the 3 ways to grow your business. How many customers do you have? How often do they buy? And how big is their average purchase? Most marketing dollars are focused on how many customers you have. People just pound away. And this is called, in direct marketing terms, this is the front end of your business. This is the back end of your business. And most folks are spending nearly all of their advertising efforts and money trying to increase the number of customers that they have, and spending very little of their focus and energy and planning and strategy on increasing the lifetime value of a customer. So here's the key considerations. The lifetime value of a customer, in simplistic terms, think of it as the frequency times the monetary. So if you have an average purchase in your business of under $100, you have to have a fairly good frequency for you to have an ongoing business. It's going to be too hard for you to market over and over and over again to get somebody to give you $100 and go away. If it's $500, you're probably on the cusp of having something that they buy once every 5 years or 10 years, but hopefully you'll have related things that they need, like supplies or cleaning or whatever is related, a warranty, all the things out there that extend your relationship with that customer. So this is really the holy grail of direct marketing. What is the lifetime value? Cost of acquisition. How much do you spend on average to get a new person in the door? Now, for decades, a car dealership would spend $500 in marketing to earn a new car sale. And they were okay with that. It's probably even more than that now, but you have to know what that number is. And the cost of acquisition is tied to your LTV. And this is really the silver bullet of great marketers. This is the least understood concept. If you have something that sells for $25 and you're laying awake at night trying to figure out how to get customers where you make a profit on the first sale, you're not going to be sleeping a whole lot. Those don't go together well, because you almost by definition for a small ticket purchase lose money on the marketing that it takes to get someone to come in and buy from you once. So your whole world has to be reverse engineered around, how do I create a relationship with this person? How do I create an experience, a differentiation that's going to cause them to say, oh, I'm bringing my business over here, whether it's pizza or a hair salon or any of those things that tend to be in the, let's say, under $150 range. Sorry, I got to take a sip of coffee once in a while, keep the pipes going. So most folks, you first put your efforts into the LTV. You start in the middle. You start in growing that frequency and monetary and having a plan. And I'll show you a little bit more on this in a second when we get to that. But this is kind of counterintuitive. People think you start at the beginning of the journey. You start trying to get in front of more people, posting more on Facebook, running more ads, running in magazines, running in newspapers, doing postcards, running Facebook ads, and people will find out about you and somehow miraculously turn into high LTV customers. We need to have a plan in place to create that higher frequency, to create the repeat purchases. And then you can go out and spend money on acquisition, because it'll have so much more value, because you'll have a process in place to drive the back end, to drive the LTV, as we call it. This is the masterpiece of Digital Marketer. We're a Digital Marketer certified partner. The processes that we use have been tried and tested and tweaked and refined over the years with thousands of businesses literally all over the world. And customers almost always follow down a path like this. They become aware that you exist, or they become aware that they have a problem that needs fixed. They go out and look and pick up information, and they engage a little bit. And then maybe they're willing to subscribe. Maybe they're willing, you're going to give them a little bit more information, or you're going to do something for them that causes them to get comfortable giving you an email address, or perhaps you've pixeled them, which we'll explain in a future video. Future webinar, so that you can reconnect with them. Then you convert them, which is a small opening purchase or a commitment of time where they actually agree to come and see you. You excite them, you ascend them. So ascension is when you start to see that person buying from you every month, if that's a reasonable buying cycle for you. Every 2 years, if that's your reasonable buying cycle. But you're beginning to ascend them up to that ideal client. And really your planning has to start up here. What does that look like? And how am I going to build this part of the marketing process to get more people up to the top or the middle of this ascension ladder? Because really, and this is why marketing is so hard. All these earlier steps of them becoming aware of you, making them aware they have a problem, starting to engage you, you're upside down, which means you're spending more money than you're bringing in. And when people keep spending at this bottom level of the journey, they quit. They stop, they jump around, they try a postcard, they quit the postcard, they try Facebook ads, they say that doesn't work. And they really don't have a full journey mapped out. They don't have a way to engage people and get them to subscribe and get them to convert. And it's too bad, because all the money is up here. All of the money happens after you've gotten them excited enough to say, I'm going to bring more of my business and I'm going to tell my friends and I'm going to refer people to you. I'm going to give you a good review. All those things happen later in the process, but none of them happen by accident. None of them are just going to miraculously start to happen. So we're going to focus initially right here. What are we trying to do to get them to connect with us and get them excited enough that we can move them up into here? We're going to build that into the marketing process, into these earlier steps. So what does your best customer look like? We have a home cleaning service client where our deal thing is every month. We have another client where the best customer tends to be someone elderly, possibly late in life, but they are wealthy most of the time, can afford to pay for home services in cash or without insurance, at least without Medicare. We have all kinds of different people, but the point is we first focus on what is your best customer look like? How much do they spend? What's a decent purchase? How often do they buy? And can you influence that? Is it something they need more often and are probably only buying half of it from you? Will they give you great reviews? I mean, is this somebody that's willing to engage you and say, yeah, I've really been pleased with what you've done for me, and I'm willing to go out and do that if you prompt them for it. The problem with reviews is they tend to do them if they're angry, and they tend to take for granted when things go well. So you really need to have a nice little conversation with them about how important it is to help, get the business out there. Are they eager to refer? That's a step above reviews, obviously, right? Are they willing to tell their friends or encourage their friends that, you're somebody that they should trust? And we also need to craft offers that involve repeat or related purchases. So a modest upsell, some, product that they might need down the line to help take care of the purchase they're making. You bundle some of that into the conversation. I worked with a chain of 19 car mechanic places, and they were always falling into the trap of cheap and discounted coupons for oil changes. And I finally convinced them one oil change for full price, get the next two for free. So we basically are building in the repeat purchases. We're getting full price for the first one, which was unheard of. Normally you've got to be like $19.95, but we came in at $39.95, but you got two more for free, which built this repeat purchase cycle and started to increase the LTV. And the real game, as you know, is to find other things to fix. Hopefully they're honest and legitimate about it, and these folks were, but you're tripling your chances of that by not thinking in terms of getting that initial transaction at a loss, because by the time you factored in the marketing costs, they were below zero on that. So you really need to start thinking about offers that have repeat or related purchases built into them. And who is your ideal prospect? Years ago, I heard a story, a very cool speaker who kind of has gotten a little carried away lately. You'd recognize who it is, but he said, what if I challenged you and I wanted you to buy a birthday present for a friend of mine? And you know absolutely nothing about my friend. If they like it, you get $100. If they love it, you get $1,000. If they're over the moon and think that it's amazing that you picked this gift out for them, you get $1 million. If they don't care for it at all, you get shot. Knowing what you know now about my friend, how comfortable are you with this challenge? Not at all, right? Because you have no idea. Now, if I told you that my friend was over 50 and a golfer, would you take the challenge? Probably. A golfer that loved to travel to warm places, played all the time, was always looking to improve their game. Now it's getting easier and easier, right? You could almost start to write social media posts to connect with that person. You might have to do a little bit of research, but you get the idea. So first, where do they live? Are you a geographic business or are you e-commerce and they could live anywhere in the world? But get clear with that first, because we want to make sure you're spending your money in the geography where they could likely come from. What do they look like? People get a little too carried away about this. This can tend to be more descriptive of the people that do business with you than predictive. In other words, just because a large percentage of them look like this doesn't mean that a large percentage of the people that look like that are going to come into your store. So don't fall too in love with this, but it does help you eliminate people that are probably not your customer. If you're selling something that's very expensive, you can safely eliminate the lower income people without being too worried about, whether you're targeting the right higher income people. And where can you connect with them? I had a conversation with somebody the other day that was selling hearing aids. And I worked in the print advertising business for a very long time. And people are so down on newspapers and print and everything. But if you want to sell hearing aids, there aren't a whole lot of better places than to run ads in the newspaper, because that's who's still getting the newspaper. So think about where they are, not where you think they should be or where you are, but think about where your clients are. Maybe they're on Pinterest and you're not, but think about that. And what problem do they have that you fix? That's really what you want to focus your conversation with them about. You don't want to create an open wound and rub their face in it or anything like that. But what problem? That's the relevant conversation. The golfer wants to hit the ball farther. They want believability that they'll actually be able to do it. The older patient wants comfort in their final years. They want security, things like that. This is a worksheet that we use all the time. This comes from our network of digital marketer, and I will make this available to you if this is something you want to go through. What are the goals and values of your ideal customer? Roughly, how old are they? Is it male, female, or either? Where are they? Kind of what we talked about a little bit ago. What are their pain points? What's bothering them that you fix? Because that's going to get their attention real fast. What are their challenges? Where do they get their information? Do they follow certain gurus? Do they go to certain conferences? Could they be congregating it on a blog or a website? What kind of occupation? You get the idea. This is available to you, but this is a worksheet that we go through to try to get really clear about who we're trying to reach with our marketing. And the more you know about someone and can speak their language about something they want to change, the easier it is to really connect with them. And using their language is really important. When I would do presentations to large groups of the newspaper industry, the number one thing I would hear back was, this guy was one of us, because I knew their language and I used their language. And you want to use your target customers and prospects language. So you want to know, who it is that you're talking to. Remember this? This is the most immediately recycled piece of paper in the planet, I think. I keep it because I want to see who's still running advertising in there, because they're a good prospect. I need to talk to them. But for the most part, the internet now is the equivalent of the phone book. It really is. People chuckle at that analogy a little bit, but far smarter people than I am came up with that. So don't try to argue with it. Here's a guy from Google. This is from a couple of years ago. This number's changed a little bit. 97% of decisions are starting on the internet, but less than about 9% now are actually happening on the internet. All the hubbub about Amazon and how big Amazon has gotten and how much money they're taking off the market and everything. People still, even if your mother told you that she used a plumber and she loved them, what would you do? You would go find them on the internet and check out their reviews, because maybe they did a great job for her, but maybe they have 70 reviews and we had a guy out looking at doing some work at our house the other day. The quote was good. He was great. He was very personable. He was on time. He had 26 reviews, 1.5 stars. He's screwed. There's no way we're doing business with this guy. So you need to work on that. Let's talk about website for a minute. So we're talking about all this strategy. How does this fit into your website? Why do we often say, if you've been around us very much, 80 to 85% of websites just suck. They're a brochure. They don't do anything to connect with the traffic. They don't do anything to engage the traffic. I'm going to show you a dozen websites that do. I'm going to tell you exactly why they do, and I'm going to do it in about 20 seconds apiece. So fasten your seatbelt a little bit. But here's what we got to focus on. The headline that enters the conversation going on in your prospect's head. What is the unique problem that you solved that they probably have that led them to find you? Are they frustrated with, people that don't do exactly what they need? Very clear next steps. What's the primary call to action, CTA? What's the secondary call to action? Don't confuse them. It's a great book written on website design called Don't Make Me Think. Don't think that having 15 different things above the fold makes your website better because of all the great stuff you do. It doesn't. What's the primary thing you want them to do now that they're at your website? And a hero image is ideally something that relates to the prospect experiencing your transformation. So if you're a hair salon and somebody is really frustrated that they have real curly hair and you know how to straighten their hair, or you know how to really work with curly hair, you got a picture of somebody with out of control curly hair next to somebody with amazing curly hair, or the home health care, you've got somebody who's just really frail and nervous, being at home and needing help and care. And then they're relaxed and a little bit more carefree. So here's some great examples. See how clean this is? Headline, primary call to action. Transform your thing into what they want. Transform your sales team into a revenue generating machine. Request a demo. That's it. Competitive intelligence for busy marketers. Desired end result for your target customer. 14-day free trial, get your account now. That's it. Very clear what they want you to do here, right? What's your story? We help you discover and create stories that drive leads and grow your business. Schedule a free assessment. We help you do the thing that achieves the desired end result. Very simple little formula. We help market companies get more out of known painful action. We help nonprofits get more out of online fundraising. Push the button below, get more info. Boom. Get more leads from your website starting now. Sounds good, right? Get more of the desired result from your existing asset starting right now. Let's talk. Boom. So they're not looking to, there's a blog up here if you want. There's resources up here. This stuff probably should be at the bottom in a more modern website. Let's talk. That's what you want to do. You want to engage them. Turn social engagement into new customers. Turn something they have or something that's easy to get into the known desired result. Primary call to action. This should probably be a darker color, a more brighter color, because it is the primary. Find out more. So if you're not ready to talk to us yet, great. You want to learn more about this? Click this one. That's it. Primary, secondary. Easily promote yourself with every email you send. Easily, end result with what we've got. Get your free email signature. So these are all really good examples. Make your target audience better at the problem that they have. Make your retailers better marketers. Schedule a demo. Very straightforward. Build, publish, and split test landing pages without the IT department, the dreaded IT. Accomplish desired result without known roadblock. Build a high converting landing page now. This is what they want. Push the button. There's 3 steps. You're done. Make a phone visitor into an online visitor. Everyone can now do something simple and accomplish desired end result. Get started with a 14-day trial. You see how these are all, it's the formula today. It's the hero's journey more or less, but it's very specific headline, talking to the problem they have, very specific call to action, how to fix it. That's it. There's more as you scroll down on these websites, but this is what you want people to see when they come to your website. Stop prospecting. We'll do it for you. Stop doing that. Request a demo. Angie from Angie's List, friend of mine in Indy, built her website and worked with her for a number of years as she was getting going. Tired of known pain point? We make it easy to overcome pain. Tired of lousy service? Angie's List makes it easy to get the best look. Join now. No, extensive pictures, extensive links. Here's your problem. We fix it. Do this. So now we're going to focus up here a bit. Now that we've got the traffic that's coming to the website and we've got an inkling of how to get them to convert, how to, a conversion in this context is a conversation. It's a very small purchase. It's attending, a webinar. It's them giving you some of their time, and you need to excite them to ascend them and get them to go into next steps. So email lists, very high priority. Ask in person online. It's not just for a newsletter. That's so mid 1990s. Sales notices, coupons, exciting news only, and stay in touch regularly, at least 2 times a month. The biggest mistake that we see people make is we were doing some work with one of those foot stores one time, and they felt they had 30,000 email addresses. Well, as we got into the research, we found that the average customer purchased or didn't purchase within 8 days. And only a smattering, a few hundred of the emails were less than 8 days old. In fact, their first email follow-up wasn't even scheduled to go out until 14 days after the person signed up, which means that about 90% of the people that were going to take action already did. And you really have to have a clear understanding of how you're going to use email when you capture it. You should have at least 5 or 6 good promotions a year where you give people a reason to act now. You can use it with people that haven't been in a while if you want to get aggressive on how you manage that. We use ActiveCampaign. We have about 12 clients on that. It's relatively inexpensive, but you can grow with it. MailChimp is okay if you serve multiple different product lines and you want to be able to send unique emails to different people based on where they are in the conversation with you. MailChimp probably is not a good choice for you, nor is Constant Contact. Tend to be very basic email broadcast type tools. So ActiveCampaign will do the trick. But it's frustrating when you see folks, have no ability to try to get past customers to come back in. And email is really still one of the easiest and best ways to do that. Here's something that we do right away for new clients. These are review cards. So you see ambassadorpestcontrol.com/review. We create a page on their website that has what's called a review funnel on it. And we're trying to drive people to that. And if they give us 4 or 5 stars, we say, thank you so much. How about putting that review on Facebook? Or how about putting it on Yelp? Or how about putting it on Google? If they're unhappy, we ask them to tell us why they were unhappy, give us their contact information. We diligently make sure that the client contacts them right away, because we don't want, first of all, we don't want to disappoint anyone, but we certainly don't want to leave that person feeling unresolved and out there, because they'll post in 3 or 4 places if they get ticked off enough. And we're trying to prevent that. But we're proactively asking them, that we take a lot of pride in our work. You may not know that online reviews are important for a small business. We appreciate you taking a moment to leave us a good review and there's the review site. So don't leave reviews to chance, and don't feel shy, and I think that's really a good, way to put it. Your honest helps us improve, but it also helps others find out more about us. You know how much you rely on reviews, right? They're the lifeblood of business now. We'd be grateful if you were happy with the service that you receive, if you would go out and do that. Same thing with referrals. I think this is the biggest revenue source that people just, you talk to people, how do you grow your business? Oh, word of mouth. Well, word of mouth, you can't just let it happen by accident. One of our clients sells beautiful high-end photography that's printed in various different mediums like metal and canvas and things like that. And they now, with every purchase, send out a little letter with a little stack of referral cards saying, we find that most of our business comes from people that have seen our artwork hanging in clients' homes. And we would love it if you could, give them a referral card. Because how often, people say, oh, where'd you get that? Oh, I don't remember. So we make sure they have this little stack of cards and that they can hand them out. And there's actually a little incentive. We don't want to get crazy with it, but we give a few percentage points to the referrer and the referee because there's no marketing cost there. And hopefully they will get the referral program. And now you have a formal referral program on the back end, trying to build that out. Same thing, Maids of Honor. greatest compliment is get a referral of a friend or neighbor. As a friend of so-and-so, we would like to give you $20 off your first visit. And this is a referral hotline to schedule that visit. And then we also give something nice to the client who did the referral. So again, it's a real weakness if you think that word of mouth is something that just happens without your involvement. You can double, triple, quadruple reviews and referrals on the back end just by having a process in place and asking nicely for them. You'd be amazed what that can do for you.